And I thank my colleague for
Gentleman is
yielding.
recognized for 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in strong opposition to S5, the Stem Cell Research Enhancement Act, and I do so not because I oppose embryonic stem cell research, but because as an OBGYN physician, I oppose federally funded embryonic stem cell research that destroys human life. And the truth of the matter is, I am not alone in this belief, Mr. Speaker. In fact, I'm joined by nearly half the American public. Let me say that again. Nearly half of the American public opposes using taxpayer dollars to fund embryonic stem cell research when a human embryo is destroyed in the process. I know that the supporters of this bill claim an overwhelming majority of Americans wholeheartedly endorse their bill. However, when these same Americans are asked specifically whether or not they would like the federal government to fund research that destroys a human embryo, the survey results refute that claim. In fact, over 60%, Mr. Speaker, of Americans do not support their money going towards destructive embryonic stem cell research. Mr. Speaker, it's not the job of Congress to force the American taxpayers to fund research that they morally oppose. Rather, this body is charged with the awesome responsibility of being good stewards of the taxpayer dollar by supporting research that upholds the values of our society. And I want to remind my colleagues and the American people, today, that is the question we're debating. We are debating whether or not American taxpayers should be forced to pay for research that destroys human life. Contrary to what we're hearing today, we are not debating whether or not embryonic stem cell research is legal in this country, because not only is it completely legal, but it is also well-funded in both the private and public sectors. In fact, Mr. Speaker, between state governments and private sector, nearly $4 billion has been committed to embryonic stem cell research over the next 10 years. So, Mr. Speaker, as a society that has always valued and protected the fragility of human life, we must, if the gentleman would yield me additional 30 seconds, or even 15.
Does the gentleman yield additional 30 seconds?
15 seconds.
And
Gentleman recognized additional 15 seconds.
And let me repeat. So, Mr. Speaker, as a society that has always valued and protected the fragility of human life, we must reject this misguided attempt to force the American people into paying for something with which they fundamentally disagree. And I encourage my colleagues, oppose.
Gentleman yields back this time. Gentlelady from Colorado.